Hello, and welcome to episode 68 of the Education Today podcast. I am your host, Sachata, and I am so glad you have tuned in today for what I believe is one of our most vital conversations yet. Today, we are diving deep into the heart of the classroom to discuss the profound effect of standardized testing on curriculum choices. It is a topic that touches every teacher, every student, and every parent. Joining me in the studio is someone who has spent over 2 decades navigating these very waters, the insightful and passionate Mr. Cerrone. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Sachata. It is truly an honor to be here. I have been listening to this podcast for a long time, and I am just thrilled to finally contribute to this specific dialogue.
We are so happy to have your perspective. Let's start right at the center of it. When we talk about standardized testing, we often hear the phrase teaching to the test. From your experience, how does that actually manifest in the day-to-day curriculum?
It is a heavy reality, Sachata. To put it simply, the test becomes the compass. Instead of asking, what do these children need to know to be well-rounded human beings, the question becomes, what will be on the exam in May? This shift in focus narrows the curriculum down to a very thin slice of what education should be. We start prioritizing rote memorization over critical thinking, and that is a heartbreaking trade-off to witness.
It really does sound like a loss of depth. I imagine it feels like you are constantly racing against a clock that is ticking toward a single day of assessment.
Exactly. It creates this frantic pace. There's no room for the teachable moment anymore. If a student asks a brilliant off-topic question about history or science that isn't on the rubric, a teacher feels a pang of guilt for spending time on it. That curiosity is the engine of learning, but standardized testing often acts like a brake. We find ourselves skipping the nuance of a novel or the beauty of a complex math derivation just to ensure we cover the specific question types that the testing board prefers.
That sounds incredibly stifling for a teacher's soul. But what about the subjects that aren't on the test at all? We hear so much about the arts and physical education being pushed to the margins.
Oh, Sachata, that is where the impact is most visible and most devastating. When a school's funding or reputation is tied to math and literacy scores, music, drama, and art are often the first things to be trimmed or completely eliminated. I remember a student of mine, a young girl who struggled immensely with traditional testing, but was a literal prodigy on the violin. When her music time was cut to give her extra test prep in math, her entire spirit dimmed. She lost her reason for coming to school.
That is a powerful and painful image. It makes me wonder about the psychological toll on the students. They must feel like they are just a data point on a spreadsheet.
They do. We are conditioning children to believe that their worth is defined by a number. The anxiety levels we see during testing season are unprecedented. It is not just about the curriculum. It's about the culture of fear we are accidentally building.
So how do we push back? Is there a way to balance the need for some form of standardized measurement with the need for a rich, diverse curriculum?
It requires a paradigm shift. We need to advocate for holistic assessment. That means looking at portfolios, project-based learning, and teacher evaluations alongside these tests, not beneath them. Some districts are starting to experiment with performance-based assessments, where students actually apply what they have learned. When you change the way you test, the curriculum naturally opens back up to allow for exploration and creativity.
That gives me a bit of hope. It seems like the conversation is slowly starting to change, even if the progress feels incremental.
It is changing, but it needs voices like yours, Sachata, and the voices of parents to demand that we value the whole child. We cannot let a bubble sheet define the boundaries of a child's mind.
That is a perfect note to end on. Mr. Cerrone, thank you for your honesty and for the incredible work you do in the classroom every single day.
It was my absolute pleasure. Keep fighting the good fight for our kids.
And to our listeners, thank you for joining us for episode 68. Let this conversation stay with you as you think about the schools in your community. Until next time, stay curious and stay passionate.